Alright guys, what is up? You are back for another video with Datazero. This is your daily outlook prediction for stocks and crypto. This video is not financial advice, should not be taken as such. Please do your own research and due diligence before buying any stock or crypto asset. Now with that being said, let's hop into charts, facts, and data showing you guys what is going on for the day into the rest of this week. Now, a few things to talk about here for AMC, GME, SPY, Bitcoin, and crypto. Bitcoin briefly touching a new all-time high. I'm going to talk about this in the Bitcoin section. We could see more movement to the upside. Coins like XRP and Ethereum starting to pop off, which I did call for. We're going to talk about that more. Also, AMC and GME getting a pop to the upside as predicted. What is next? I'm about to break it down in this video. And then also we're going to be looking at SPY and showing you guys what's going on with SPY and NASDAQ and where we could be headed. Calls absolutely printed from the Discord. So if you guys want to start making money and stop losing it, check out the Discord. I broke down winners in the live stream and showed you guys all the winners that we have in the live stream. So if you guys want to see that, check out the end of the live stream of today's live stream. Now, this is what's happening here for AMC. I told you guys yesterday that if we broke above 292, you would see a decent pop to the upside, heading towards 303 or 305. That's exactly what happened as we did break above 292 and then head to that 303. Now what I'm looking for tomorrow is to see if we continue to hold this 294, 295 level as support. If we are able to do that, you're going to see AMC push above $3 and break past $3 and start to move up. Now, why do I say this? Because right now what we're doing is we are building support so we can start to move up. Now, I want to point out something else as well for AMC. Short interest has increased, ladies and gentlemen. The short interest has increased. So you guys can see we're actually at 15.62% short interest here for AMC. So short interest has gone up. Now, this is going towards my thesis, which I started talking about in yesterday's video, that them shorting at these low levels, they are underwater. They are desperately trying to push the stock down as we go higher. They started short positions at these lower ranges. So basically what you're seeing is for AMC, they're starting short positions down here at these low points. And once AMC starts to go higher, they are going to be underwater. You guys can also see, so right here, this is where they're starting short positions down here in these low points here and there around like 280. 290, and as we go higher and higher, those short positions are going to go into the red. You guys can see that they're shorting heavily here with cost of bar. You can see all of the volume here. That's that white, those white candles that you're seeing. That's all of the shorting volume. So they are shorting heavily, and we can confirm that because short interest is going up as well. Now, right now, AMC is breaking out of this overall falling wedge, and what I'm expecting is AMC to continue to the upside, and this is why I think we're going to break past $3 and hold $3 in my personal opinion, and get the green week that I predicted here for AMC stock. So basically what I'm expecting tomorrow is a consolidation sideways here in the morning. Then we're going to drop down, retesting 294, 295, and then start to move up towards 297 and $3. Once we break and hold $3, you're going to see a decent pop to the upside here for AMC. I think $3 is going to be able to be claimed this week and be held, in my personal opinion. So between today or tomorrow and Friday, you're going to see AMC move up towards $3 and hold that level. So this is what I'm looking at for AMC. Again, just kind of keep an eye on cost to borrow and stuff like that, because we did have the recent days to cover pop to the upside, which shows a potential that there is liquidity drying up in the background. We're also breaking out of this overall falling wedge, which is very, very bullish for a continuation to the upside. Again, short interest is increasing, which is also bullish as well. If we start to see FTDs come or cost to borrow rise, that is an indication that yes, indeed, liquidity is drying up in the background and shorts are indeed in trouble. Now, we're already seeing that they are desperate because, again, they're shorting heavily while the stock is at low prices. Normally what happens is short positions cover their positions when they hit lows instead of starting new short positions or trying to double down to push it down even more. And that shows that they're desperate to keep the stock down. That's why I think we've seen this recent attack for both AMC and GME. Both stocks recently got attacked here with dilution, and that's why I think they need breathing room. That way they can kick the can down the road. But like I explained in yesterday's video, the longer they kick the can down the road, the deeper they dig their hole, because they create more short interest, which if the price goes up and they do eventually get squeezed, that would cause a bigger short squeeze. So again, it's literally idiotic, and they dig their hole deeper. So it costs you nothing to hold. Again, I'm not telling you what to do, buy or sell, hold. Me personally, I still do hold shares of AMC, but I also trade AMC, GME, SPY as well to make money in the meantime. So this is what we're looking at for AMC. GameStop, 19.47% short interest here for GameStop. AMC cost to borrow sitting at about 0.59%. We want to see that cost to borrow go up. Once you see cost to borrow go over like 1% or higher, normally price goes up with it as well. That's normally an indication that liquidity is drying up. Also, it's more expensive for them to get shares, so that's why you see less shorting pressure when cost to borrow is higher. Right now, only 1.1 million short shares at time of recording. They did dump short shares on AMC and GME today, especially when they got that pop to the upside, but they only have 1.1 million. Now, that could change for GameStop. That could change as early as tomorrow morning, but as of right now, they don't have a lot of ammo to really be pushing it down. GameStop is at 1.1 million and AMC's at 1.7 million, so kind of the same story for AMC, but they have a little bit more shares to push AMC down. We're going to want to see if they utilize these tomorrow, but I think we're actually about to see a continuation to the upside in my personal opinion, and that's why I said it in yesterday's video. Can AMC actually pull off something unexpected? Because I believe that this move is going to be unexpected to most people except for DC Fan, which is watching, and we're going to see a continuation up. You can see that we have green MACD here on the 4-hour time frame. We're building bullish momentum. We're in an overall uptrend. So again, all in all, for me, this is just looking really good to see AMC continue to the upside. I think we're going to break $3 tomorrow and be able to hold that, in my personal opinion. Now, as far as GameStop is concerned, I think GameStop is going to have to come back down and potentially retest 2302. But if it does hold 2302, it's going to start moving towards the key level of 2315. Why is that a key level? Because if we can break and hold 2315, you're going to see a nice move up towards 2350, and 2350 is the last major level before $24, which if we can break and hold that $24 level, you're going to see GameStop start to push into its gap fill. So AMC filled its gap that it had, but we still have a gap fill up here at 325 to about like 329. And again, if we do hold $3, you're going to see AMC start to move towards that gap. Same thing for if GameStop holds 2350 around that range, you're going to see it start to move back towards this gap fill, and this gap fill goes all the way to 2450, all the way to 2847. Once GameStop gets into this gap, it should be able to push up rapidly. You can see bullish momentum is building here on the daily time frame. After this last attack that they had, they tried to push us down from this 3581. Again, obviously, GameStop was getting clearly out of control because we were at that blast off zone. Anything over $30 to $35, GameStop could literally just blast off and run. We've seen it happen before here just recently in 2024. But you guys can see we're actually starting to recover now already, and this is not good news for the shorts. I think they were expecting this to take a little bit longer, give them a little bit more breathing room, and that's why I think they're shorting so heavily, because they are desperate to keep both AMC and GME down. GME, I think, is going to move up. You guys can see we got that green MACD, RSI trending up, so I think both meme stocks are showing signs of bullishness, and that we're going to see a continuation to the upside for both stocks. You guys can see GameStop also got a pop to the upside as well. We just need to see it break that 2315. That way we can move towards 2350 and then start pushing towards 24 and 2450 gap fill. So this is what I'm looking at for the meme stocks, AMC and GME. Again, basically, long story short, I think we're going to see a continuation to the upside. We just need to break key levels. Key level for AMC would be $3, and then key level for GameStop would be 2315. I think in the morning we're going to see a little bit of pullback, so don't be shocked if you see a little bit of pullback in the morning, but I think we're going to find our footing and push up. So let's go ahead and move into SPY and show you guys what's going on with SPY, and then we'll break it down. So SPY, I think, is going to fill this gap tomorrow. SPY is this gap at like 624.76 to 624.92. I think that gap's going to get filled tomorrow, and what you're probably going to see is a little bit of like upwards action in the pre-market, and then we're probably going to dump down. I'm thinking SPY might actually have a red day tomorrow when it's all said and done. But in the morning, you're going to see upside, okay? You're going to see upside pre-market and maybe even a little bit in the morning trading session. But then I think we're going to start breaking down. Watch for the key level here of SPY of 624.35. If you lose that, you're going to move to the downside. And if SPY loses 622.70, we could come as low as 620.68, 620.43, where there is a gap fill to the downside. Now, as far as NASDAQ is concerned, NASDAQ is the leader, and it is following my prediction perfectly. I told you SPY is going to correct down, but not before a movement up. And this is what we're seeing right now. We're seeing that movement to the upside. RSI starting to get to that overbought territory here for NASDAQ, but not yet deep into the overbought. That's why I think we're going to see one more move up, which is going to take SPY with it. So SPY is going to go a little bit higher, and then I think it's going to drop down. So in the beginning of the day, I think we could see bullishness, and then towards the later half of the day, I think SPY is going to start breaking down, and then potentially Friday, which we'll get there when we get there, but I think Friday could be a pretty bearish day based off what I'm seeing here so far. Now, as long as NASDAQ stays in this rising wedge, I'm expecting upside, but once it breaks down out of this rising wedge, it's going to drop down. NASDAQ had a gap fill to the upside, which it filled and created a gap fill to the downside, which is exactly what leads me to believe that we're going to pop up a little bit higher and then drop down. We have a massive rising wedge on both NASDAQ and SPY, so we're going to be seeing breakdowns, in my personal opinion, after we see this pop to the upside. So I think SPY is going to go up a little bit higher, like 624, 90, 625, and then start to drop down. So basically in the morning, like I said, pre-market, you're going to see a little bit of upside action, even in maybe the morning trading session. And then towards the afternoon, you'll probably start to fade to the downside, in my personal opinion. Again, do not start short positions until you lose key levels. Key levels of support right now for SPY are going to be 624.35, 623.38, and 622.70, which if we did lose that level, you could see a decent move to the downside. This is what I'm looking at for SPY in the overall market. We do have one more support here before the gap fill as well at 621.20. So just be aware of that. So again, a little bit more upside for SPY. Then we're going to lead into a drawdown. I think we're going to see a decent pullback based off of this rising wedge here for NASDAQ, but we still have a little bit more time before that does come into play. You guys can see actually RSI is actually starting to trend down as price trends up. So that's bearish divergence, which is why I think we're going to have to push up, flatten out, and then correct down. That's how bearish divergence works. Normally you see price go up as RSI starts to trend down, then it flattens out, makes a rounded top, and pulls back. And that's why I have this prediction here, which is currently tracking here for NASDAQ, which is the leader of the market. Again, major news for the stock market is going to be like the Trump tariffs, stuff like that. I stopped paying attention to every little thing. You just really need to know if they're on or off. Right now, we have the deadline pushed back to August 1st. So I really don't see anything as far as the Trump tariffs that we need to be worried about. As far as the little details and intricacies, I don't really pay attention to them too much. But that as far as the news as Trump tariffs are concerned. So a little bit of news for AMC and GME, Jurassic World and F1 are going hard. Also, GME with Bitcoin rallying, that is going to be bullish for GME in my personal opinion. Once we saw Bitcoin really start to push up, GME started to move up as well. So this is what we're looking at for SPY in the overall stock market, AMC and GME. Let's go ahead and move into BTC and crypto and wrap up this video. So Bitcoin was able to do something crazy today. Bitcoin was able to break above and hold the key level of 109.5. Now, I told you guys that was the one thing the fractal had to see to understand if the fractal is going to continue to track or not. So you guys can see we have this fractal here for BTC, and this fractal is saying that we were going to reject and pull down. But overall, the technical analysis that I have says that we're going to be at least moving up to about 115, 125. Now, I think what's happening here is I think that price target is potentially coming early here for BTC, and we could potentially move up towards that 115, 125 price target a lot sooner than I expected. We briefly touched a new all-time high. What we would have to do to see Bitcoin really go crazy is break above 112. Okay, 112. If it breaks above 112K and holds that as support, Bitcoin's going to go to that 115, 125 price target. But the main thing that we need to understand right now is that the altcoins are going to be going crazy because of this. We have coins like XRP, We have coins like Ethereum making absolute moves. If you go ahead and look at the crypto bubbles, you guys will see that a lot of these crypto assets are really starting to make moves and starting to push up. XLM is up 11% right now. So you guys can see XRP is up 4.6%. Ethereum is up 6% as well. So we're seeing decent moves to the upside in the altcoin world, and altcoins are actually outperforming BTC. We're also seeing Bitcoin dominance start to come down and Ethereum dominance start to come up, which is an indication, an early indication that potentially altcoin season is coming. Now, Bitcoin dominance is still very, very, very high. So I don't think that we're in altcoin season just yet. You guys can see Bitcoin dominance is still at 62.6%, but it was as high as 63+%, and Ethereum dominance was lower. So Ethereum dominance is sitting at 9.46%. So seeing Ethereum dominance come up and Bitcoin dominance come down, that is a sign that altcoin season potentially is coming, but we want to see those numbers go higher. So we want to see Ethereum dominance go higher, and we want to see Bitcoin dominance go lower. To make that very clear, again, Bitcoin dominance coming lower, Ethereum dominance going higher. That's showing us that altcoin season is coming. Normally what happens is Bitcoin begins to range, and then you see altcoin season come into play. So Bitcoin has already made a huge move up from 15K all the way up to 112K. So we have that big rally. We're starting to range now, building that floor above 100K like I said we would. What I want to see is if we continue up like this and hit my 115, 125 price target, that is going to bring in altcoin season, okay? And again, I told you guys, I've been warning everybody. I've been saying, hey, XRP is looking really crazy. I've been talking about it on the news, on Twitter/X. We also have the possible BlackRock ETF coming, which would send price flying. Also, I've been talking about a potential price shock move for BTC. Everyone's buying Bitcoin and getting strategic Bitcoin reserves. Companies, countries, and people are holding Bitcoin as well. This is going to become the standard of maintaining wealth. And I talked about a supply shock pop, which is potentially what we're seeing here. As all of these people buy, they buy off of the market, but it still comes out of the supply. And what happens is it gets supply shock. And that's why you see Bitcoin kind of consolidate and then just rapidly move up. And again, I've only reported a few people, but this is like they're getting huge and huge and huge amounts of money for people getting Bitcoin reserves. I think that fiat currency is falling and we're moving into the digital age, ladies and gentlemen. We're still very, very early. Cryptocurrency is the way, and we've seen nothing but gains here in the crypto land. So if Bitcoin's able to break that 111, 112 to be exact level and hold that, you're going to see a decent move to the upside, but we'd have to break and hold 112. So I am waiting to see if Bitcoin is able to do that. Right now we're seeing a little bit of pullback, but it's kind of consolidating underneath it, and it looks like it's going to make the move above it. So I'm expecting Bitcoin to go into price discovery mode here soon after it breaks 112K, 112K, holds that level. We'll probably see Bitcoin hit my $15,000 to $25,000 price target, which I've never been wrong about a target. So again, with Bitcoin hitting that target, that would indeed again solidify another prediction that I had here for BTC, as it would be hitting that 125 115K level before 2026. So again, look out for a potential altcoin season coming a little bit later down the road. You want to see that Ethereum dominance go up, Bitcoin dominance go down. But ladies and gentlemen, crypto market is looking very, very promising. Again, just make sure you do take profits if you're up heavily. But me personally, I am holding for the long term. I have 59% of my portfolio is Bitcoin. Then my next biggest holding would be XRP, and then Ethereum, for full disclosure. So this is what I'm looking at for the crypto market. Other than that, guys, I think we look really good. I'm really happy about what Bitcoin's doing, and if Bitcoin does continue up, companies that hold Bitcoin like GameStop could also see a little bit of gains and momentum from that as well, so that it is good for GameStop holders. This was your daily outlook and prediction for stocks and crypto. I'm rocking some of the merch from the merch store right now. We just got some new designs. That link is down in the description. Also, I have information about how to join the Discord. Discord is $100 for a lifetime invite. Once you make payment, I send you the link. It's as easy as that. Payments made by PayPal or Cash App. Exclusive buy signals, sell signals, technicals, information, and a group of people all trying to find financial freedom, working together, helping each other out, and just a great overall community. So if you want to join that, go go ahead and hit me up on my email, DataZeroOfficial5, or my Instagram. But if you want to support for absolutely free and you're listening to this, you helped out by watching to the end of the video. If you want to help out even more, leave a comment, subscribe, and share the content, which is a great way to let the algorithm know that this is the place to be. And as always, I appreciate each and every one of you because I truly could not be here without you. And as always, y'all, have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace out, family.